You ever look at someone and just wonder, how do they always win? It's a huge question, right? It touches on everything from ambition and success to our very own biology. So why do some people seem to be on this permanent winning streak while so many others feel stuck? Is it just luck, pure talent? Or, and this is where it gets really interesting, is there something else going on? Some kind of hidden switch that actually changes us physically when we win? Well, the answer is a big yes, and it might just blow your mind. Today, we're diving deep into the science of what's called the winner effect. All right, to really wrap our heads around this whole paradox, let's kick things off with a story. It's a perfect example. We're talking about the tale of a father and a son, both living under the weight of this one massive name, Picasso. Okay, so on one hand, you've got Pablo Picasso. I mean, the guy was the ultimate winner, right? A total force of nature who basically reinvented modern art and built a global empire. But then you have his son, Paulo. And look, he had every advantage you could possibly imagine, but his life was just a struggle. He was dependent. He never really achieved much. So what gives? How can you have such a drastic difference? Well, a big piece of this puzzle is definitely psychological. I mean, just imagine your dad is an absolute legend. The bar for your own success it's just impossibly high. The idea of trying to top that, it's so daunting. It could just snuff out any motivation you have. You might start to feel like, what's the point? But here's the thing. That's only part of the story. The real secret, the one we're digging into, is biological. Yeah, you heard that right. Winning isn't just in your head. It's not some abstract idea. It is a physical state of being. We're talking real, actual, measurable changes happening inside your body and your brain. And this brings us right to the main event, the winner effect. It's a really simple idea, but it's incredibly powerful. The more you win, the more likely you are to win again. Winning literally rewires your brain for more victory. It's this feedback loop where success just breeds more success. And you can see this so clearly in nature. Get this, there's this fish in East Africa where the males are either these dominant, super brightly colored winners, or they're these passive, plain gray losers. But if the alpha winner gets snatched by a predator, one of the nearby loser fish will almost instantly transform. It gets bigger, its colors pop, it becomes way more aggressive, all because it took over that new territory. The win itself triggers a massive physical change. How wild is that? Okay, so how does this whole thing work in us, in humans? Well, it's all about this powerful chemical cycle. Here's how it goes. First, you win something. Doesn't have to be huge. That little victory triggers a surge of testosterone. That testosterone then changes your brain chemistry. Suddenly, you're feeling more confident, you're more focused, you're willing to take a few smart risks. And guess what? That new mindset makes it way more likely you're going to win the next time. And boom, the cycle starts all over again. And look, this isn't just some vague theory. This hormonal difference is totally real. You can actually measure it. We see it everywhere. Traders on Wall Street tend to make more money on days when their testosterone is high. Even sports fans, their T levels literally rise and fall depending on whether their team wins or loses. The chemistry of winning is a real biological fact. So, okay, this biological change starts to take hold. What happens then? How does this hormonal surge actually change the way we think and act? Well, let's just say the view from the top is a little different. Power does some pretty wild things to the brain. For one, it can make you less empathetic. You literally have a harder time seeing things from someone else's point of view. It makes you laser focused on the prize, on the goals, but it can blind you to the risks along the way. All this can bubble up into overconfidence. And yeah, even that feeling that, hey, the rules are for other people, not for me. And it gets even crazier because power, well, it can be addictive. See, that win boosts your testosterone, right? But that in turn boosts dopamine. That's the brain's feel-good reward chemical. And once you get that dopamine rush, you want another one. You start craving it. And that pushes you to take bigger and bigger risks to get that next win. You can kind of think of it like the Wolf of Wall Street cycle, this endless, unquenchable thirst for more power, more money, more success. Now, for every winner effect, there's a flip side, the loser effect. And we're not just talking about feeling bad here. The consequences, they can be a matter of life and death. Believe it or not, where you think you rank in society has a direct physical impact on your health. This next stat is one of the most mind-blowing things I've ever read on this topic. Oscar winners, get this, They live, on average, 4 years longer than the actors who are nominated in the same category but lost. 4 years. And it's not about the money. It's about the security and status that comes from knowing you've reached the absolute top of your field. We see the same thing with Nobel Prize winners too. So what is going on here? What's causing this huge health gap? It all boils down to something called the social evaluative threat. That's the fancy term for a really deep, primal fear. The fear of being judged by other people. The fear of being seen as inferior. Look, we're a social species, so for us, the threat of being pushed out of the group is one of the most powerful, most terrifying stressors there is. So here's the bottom line. Constantly feeling like you're at the bottom of the ladder, feeling like you have no control over your own life, that creates this chronic, toxic kind of stress. And that stress just grinds your body down over time. It leads to more sickness and, ultimately, a shorter life.
Okay, so winning is good, losing is bad. We get it. The billion-dollar question, though, is how do we kickstart that winning cycle, especially if we're feeling totally stuck? Well, here's the good news. You can actually consciously hack the winner effect for yourself. The secret? It's all about building momentum. Forget about that one huge, far-off goal for a second. Break it down. Start with something small, something you know you can achieve. Then do it. And when you do, you have to actually acknowledge it. Celebrate that small win. That's what gives you that little chemical hit of testosterone and dopamine. Then you ride that wave of motivation to the next small goal. See how it works? Each little win stacks on top of the last one, creating this amazing upward spiral. And this whole mindset really starts way back in childhood. And one of the most important things we can do for our kids or anyone we're mentoring is to change how we give praise. Telling a kid you're so smart, it sounds nice, but it can actually backfire. What you really want to do is praise their effort. That's what builds a true winner's mentality. But why? Well, think about it. When you praise intelligence, you're basically telling a kid that their talent is this fixed thing they either have or they don't. It makes them terrified of failing because if they fail, well, does that mean they're not smart anymore? So they stop trying hard things. They avoid any challenge where their ego might take a hit. But when you praise effort, you teach them that their ability can grow, that challenges aren't scary tests, they're opportunities to learn. It's a total game changer. And finally, let's talk about power itself. As we start winning and gaining influence, it's so important to know that there are really two types of power. First, there's P power. Think personal power. This is the power for your own personal gain. It's the addictive, self-centered kind that can corrupt people. But then there's S power. Think social power. This is power you use for the good of the group, to help your team, your community, or a cause you believe in. And focusing on that S power, that's the secret to avoiding the dark side of winning. Which really brings us to the final takeaway here. The winner effect is a real thing. It's a biological force that absolutely shapes our lives. But maybe a true winner isn't just the person who scrambles to the top of the mountain. Maybe the real winner is the one who gets there and then turns around and offers a hand to help the next person up. So it leaves us with a question, right? What kind of winner do you want to be?